We continue classification of epithelium. Second thing you need to think about is the shape of the cells. Some cells are flat and parallel to the basal membrane. They are called squamous. Other cells have a cube-like shape, and sometimes they are not exactly like cubes, but their nucleus will be round. So when the nucleus is round, you know those are cuboidal cells. Finally, some cells are tall and they have a tall nucleus also. They are called columnar cells. So now, to name each of those epithelial tissues, first you say how many layers of cells and then the shape of the cells. So one layer of flat cells, simple squamous epithelium. Two layers of cube-like cells, stratified cuboidal epithelium. One layer of columnar cells, tall cells, will be simple columnar epithelium. So for each of the following types of epithelium that we are going to go through, you need to know their description. Description generally it's a name, like one layer of flat cell, simple squamous epithelium. That's the description. You also need to know a function of that epithelium and its location or locations and functions. We are starting from simple squamous epithelial tissue. When you have your exam, please always remember to put name of the tissue at the end, type of the tissue. ET would be for epithelial tissue. So simple squamous ET. It will be just one layer of flat cells or mostly flat cells. Right here, that is a large flat cells. So the tissue you can see right here, that's a lung epithelium inside of the lung alveoli. That's one is alveolus, where we have that air that we inhale. And the walls of those alveoli are made of the simple squamous epithelium. So location, lungs, also some small blood vessels, and lining of the heart and lymphatic vessels. Function. Because the tissue is so thin, it allows substances to move through it easily, and main function will be diffusion and filtration, and sometimes secretion, so moving of substances through it. Simple cuboidal epithelium. Okay, right here you can see a tissue inside of our kidneys. Imagine if you have a tube like a straw. If you look at that straw not from the side but into its opening right inside there, you will see that it looks like a round structure. That's exactly what you see right here. That round structure, it's a cross cut of the tubule inside of the kidneys. The basal membrane will be right here, and on the basal membrane there is just one layer of cells with round nuclei. You remember those are cuboidal cells. So this will be simple cuboidal ET or epithelial tissue. It can be found not only in the kidney tubules, also in some ducts and small glands. Function, secretion and absorption. So secretion when substances go right here, produced by the cells, and absorption when substances from here from the lumen are absorbed into the cells, go into the cells. Next one, simple columnar epithelial tissue. One layer of tall cells with tall nuclei sitting on the basal membrane. Here is free edge, here is another different type of tissue. So this layer only. It can be found in bronchi, in uterine tubes and uterus, and in some places of the digestive tract. Its function is absorption and secretion. It can produce mucus. Now we have a similar but not identical tissue. you can see that here is a basement membrane. Right here there is a free edge, and it looks like there are many layers of cells right here, but it's not true. Those cells are tall with tall nucleus, which means columnar, but if we look at this picture, you see that it's just nuclei that are sitting at the different levels. One nucleus right here, some nuclei in the middle, some at the top of the cell. And because of such a location of their nuclei, it looks like there are many layers, but actually it's just one layer of very tall cells. And they have cilia on their top. So this would be pseudostratified columnar epithelium. And you also can call it ciliated when it has cilia like that. Location in our trachea and in a lot of respiratory tract portions, its function to secrete the mucus and moving the mucus. Let's imagine that that tissue right now is in our trachea. It's covered with mucus. When we inhale some small particles like dust or dander or maybe some viruses, they stick to that mucus, and the cilia start moving them back up to our throat, where we'll just swallow it into our stomach, and all those viruses will be killed by our stomach juice. Or sometimes when we have too much mucus, we'll just cough it out. Next one, stratified squamous epithelium. So right here that would be the basement membrane, and there are many layers of the cells, and those cells have different shape. In case like that, we only look at the top layer of the cells right here. If we see that in the top layer we have mostly flat cells, we will call that tissue squamous epithelium. And because there are many layers, in front of the name we will put the word stratified. So many layers of mostly flat cells here on the top is called stratified squamous epithelial tissue, or stratified squamous ET. It lines some cavities open to the outside, like mouth, esophagus, and vagina. And because being so thick, it can protect against abrasion. That's the main function of that tissue.